All right, for months, literally months, the entire tech world was holding its breath. We heard all these whispers about GPT-5, a leap in AI so big it was going to change everything. Then the day finally came, but what did we actually get?
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Is this thing a genuine revolution, or is it just a rebrand? After all that hype, all that anticipation, and this launch event that, let's be honest, sparked a ton of debate, we're going to dig in and find out what OpenAI really put on the table. Was it the game changer we were all waiting for, or something else?
So first, let's just take a step back and look at why the hype was so completely off the charts. I mean, this wasn't just random chatter online. It was built on a really powerful legacy. The commentator .csv put it perfectly. He basically said that the GPT family, GPT-2, 3, 4, that is the recent history of artificial intelligence. Each one wasn't just a small step up. It was a massive jump in what AI could do. And you can see the pattern, right? Back in 2019, GPT-2 just stunned the research community. Then in 2020, GPT-3 came along and basically created an entire industry of AI products with its API. And with GPT-4 in 2023, you could feel it. It was just smarter. So of course, the expectation for GPT-5 was that it would do it again, just on a whole new level. And this excitement wasn't just coming from fans. We're talking about really conservative commentators, people who had early access, who were calling this a historic day. The feeling in the air was that we were on the brink of a massive shift. Okay, so after all that buildup, the moment arrived. What did OpenAI actually show us? Let's break it down. So on paper, the list looks pretty solid. They talked about a new unified model, which is a big deal for user experience. They highlighted state-of-the-art coding abilities, more creative writing, a much better voice assistant, and big improvements in safety and how it handles complex stuff like health. Okay, so one of the biggest changes for you, the user, is this new unified model. Now, if you've used ChatGPT before, you know it could be kind of messy. You had to pick between different models. Like, do I want the fast one or the one that thinks deeper? Now, that's all gone. It's just one model. And here's how it works, which is pretty clever. You just ask your question. Behind the scenes, GPT-5 figures out if it's an easy question or a tough one that needs more reasoning. It then gives itself the right amount of thinking time and gives you the best answer. All automatically. You don't have to do a thing. Another huge piece of news was about access. That amazing superhuman-sounding voice assistant, it's now available for hours at a time for free users. And if you're a paid subscriber, you've got pretty much unlimited access. That's a massive deal, putting one of their best features in the hands of millions more people. So you're probably thinking, wow, that sounds great. The world must have been blown away, right? Well, the reaction was a little more complicated than that. A lot of experts came away feeling underwhelmed. As .csv put it, the presentation itself just fell flat. The demos looked fine, but normal. The feeling wasn't, this changes everything. It was more like, okay, this is the next one. Just another rung on the ladder, not a whole new ladder. And this really gets to the core of what the experts were saying. What everyone expected was for GPT-5 to just blow past all the competition, an undeniable leap forward. But what we got? Look, it's a super powerful model for sure, but it's not running away with the prize. It's now in this really tight race with rivals like Google, Anthropic, and even xAI. The undisputed king is now, well, just one of the contenders. And the numbers, well, they tell a really interesting story. Let's look at this one notoriously difficult benchmark called Humanity's Last Exam. You'd expect GPT-5 to be at the top, right? But actually, a competitor's model that came out 2 weeks earlier, Grok 4 Heavy, scored higher. That was a real surprise. Now, to be fair, it's not all bad news for OpenAI. When you look at the LM Arena, which is this cool system where real people vote on which model's answers they like better in blind tests, GPT-5 does squeak out a win. It is at the top, but just barely. We're talking about a razor-thin lead here. Okay, so the race is tight, and the reaction wasn't what OpenAI probably hoped for, but here's the thing. This release is still a very big deal.
You just have to know where to look for the real story. So let's just ask the question straight up. Is GPT-5 a disappointment? And I think the answer is, it depends on what you are looking for. If you wanted some sci-fi level jump in raw intelligence, then yeah, maybe. But the real revolution here is hiding in plain sight.
But here's the thing. Buried in all the demos and the announcements was this one number that just might be the most important part of this whole story. Are you ready for this? OpenAI said they saw an 82% reduction in hallucinations. That's the model just making stuff up. An 82% drop. That's huge. And that is the real revolution here. It's not about being a little bit smarter. It's about being a lot more reliable, a lot more trustworthy, and crucially, a lot more accessible to every single person. When you break it down, you can see where the real impact is. The biggest slice of the pie isn't some flashy new trick. It's that massive reduction in errors. Then you have huge chunks for making it free for more people and for making it easier to use. That's where the real progress is. This right here is the headline that got buried. Think about it. A more reliable, safer, top-tier AI reasoning model is now available for free to hundreds of millions of people. That is a quiet revolution, but it might be the most important one yet. So that kind of leaves us with this big final thought, right? For years, we've been told that an AI revolution looks like a huge jump in raw power. But maybe, just maybe, the next revolution, the one that really matters, isn't about making a machine that's a tiny bit smarter. Maybe it's about building one that every single one of us, everywhere, can actually trust and use.